GNA Victory House of Representatives Government of National Accord Tripoli Protection Force Misrata Militias Zawiya Militias Libya Shield Force NAR supported by 5,000 total Islamist conflict with Libyan National Army ISIL and anti-ISIL operations factional. Fighting LNA vs GNA terror attacks foreign involvement peace process. The Western Libya campaign was a military campaign initiated on 4 April 2019 by the Operation Flood of Dignity of the Libyan National Army, which represents the Libyan House of Representatives, to capture the western region of Libya and eventually the capital Tripoli held by the United Nations Security Council recognized Government of National Accord. The Government of National Accord regained control over all of Tripoli in June of 2020 and the LNA forces withdrew from the capital. After 14 months of fighting, the offensive resulted in over 2,468 dead. It began on 4 April 2019, 10 days before the Libyan National Conference for organizing presidential and parliamentary elections in Libya had been planned to take place, and 5 days after the first session of the 2019 Libyan local elections was held successfully. As a result of the offensive, United Nations Support Mission in Libya postponed the forthcoming Libyan National Conference. War crimes and crimes against humanity that take place during the conflict are covered by the mandate of the International Criminal Court investigation in Libya under United Nations Security Council Resolution 1970. Following the overthrow and death of Muammar Gaddafi and the fall of the Great Socialist People's Libyan Arab Jamahiriya in 2011, political and military control in Libya were in a state of flux. Fighting between different factions escalated in 2014, with the House of Representatives, based in the eastern city of Tobruk, being the main political force claiming to be the legitimate government of Libya. The House of Representatives was supported by Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar's Libyan National Army. In early 2016, a rival government, the Government of National Accord, was established in Tripoli with the backing of the UN and several countries. There were multiple attempts to negotiate between the two governments and organize new elections. Throughout 2017 and 2018, Haftar and GNA Prime Minister Fayez al-Sarraj met and spoke with each other twice for negotiations. In November 2018 and February 2019, the Supreme Judicial Council of Libya, created in 2011, retained its structure as a single national body despite the political split, and in 2019 went through Libya-wide, transparent elections, and a peaceful transfer of power. Face-to-face consultations with 7,000 Libyans and online consultations with 130,000 Libyans during 2018-2019, coordinated by the United Nations Support Mission in Libya and the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, led to a plan to hold the Libyan National Conference in Ghadam during the 14th to the 16th of April 2019 in order to recommend to the Libyan House of Representatives and High Council of State methods and dates for holding 2019 presidential and parliamentary elections in Libya. The first batch of the 2019 municipal elections in Libya took place on the 30th of March 2019. Other aims of the conference, to which representatives of all political factions were invited, included creating a unity government between Sarraj and Haftar and proposing a framework for creating a new constitution. In March 2019, the advance of Haftar's forces in southern Libya during the preceding few months started to cause concern for the organizers of the conference. Gharsan Salam, head of UNSMIL, stated on 4 April 2019 that the conference would be postponed because of the outburst of military events, but that it would be held as soon as possible because we do not have the right to allow this historic opportunity to be corrupted. At the same time, we cannot ask for the presence of the conference, with the firing and the raids ongoing, without making sure that all those who are willing to respond to this historic national duty from all regions of the country are able to ensure their safety and freedom by expressing their opinion. On 4 April 2019, an audio recording was published on Facebook by Marshal Haftar declaring war on the UN-recognized Government of National Accord and announcing that the LNA would militarily take over the capital city Tripoli. In response, the government in Tripoli led by Prime Minister Fayez al-Sarraj, and the Presidential Council ordered a general mobilization of all of its security forces. On the 6th of April, Prime Minister Sarraj, as Supreme Commander of the Libyan Army, created a joint operations room under the Western Military Region Commander, Major General Osama al-Juvli, to coordinate their operations. From early 2015, during the years prior to the April 2019 attack on Tripoli, Haftar received long-term support from French authorities, including French advisors, clandestine operatives, and special forces, helping the LNA's military operation.